edition of Blood of the Phoenix. We'll be doing a series of videos coming up in the next 2 weeks. I'm showing you hobby assembly videos, Tactica videos, contents of the book and the box, and the books and the boxes as well, the sprues as well, hobby assembly sprues, and everything else that relates to the first part of the Psychic Awakening. And stay tuned to all the videos.
Welcome to Thirst for Battle. I'm the Cerebral Assassin, and with me is the General. We'll be going over the first part video, which will be the Warhammer 40,000 Psychic Awakening Phoenix Rising for the Blood of the Phoenix core set that just came out. We'll be going over the 2 characters that they have in here, and now I'm going to give it over to the General so he can go through the characters.
I must say, I'm really excited about Psychic Awakening. This is the first part of Psychic Awakening, and there is a second part, and I love they're doing these in part series because it's getting me all tantalized and excited. So let's look at the 2 main features of the box, which are the 2 characters. Now, these characters have been existing in the Warhammer universe for some time, but they've been updated. There's not only their sculpts been updated, which we'll show you in another series of videos, but also their rules have been updated with Psychic Awakening. It seems a lot of characters that have not been touched for a long time in this series of Psychic Awakening are going to get some love, and are going to basically get revamped and redone and reset for 8th edition 40k, which got me really excited. So without further ado, let's look into these 2 data cards. Now, the way you get these 2 data cards is to get the Blood of the Phoenix box set. So I recommend to jump on before these run out, because they are a promo that you can only get with the box set, which you can get either through Games Workshop online store, a Games Workshop store, or see if your local independents do it. But I think you can only get this online through mail order. If I'm wrong, let me know, but I think that's the way you can get it all through a Games Workshop store. Anyway, Jain Zar. She's actually one of my favourite Phoenix Lords. For those who have seen me play for over the course of 8th edition, I have always fielded Jain Zar in my army of the Craftworlds armies. She's my go-to Phoenix, that and Morgan Ra. I just love using them all the time. So what's so special about what have they changed? So a couple of things. We'll go through the basics. What she has that's not changed, and why I like her. She's a movement of 8, which is huge. She can advance and she can charge in the same turn, and that's due to the acrobatic rule, which is over here. You can also add an extra 3 inches to the charge roll as well. So this is where it gets sick. This model can be chosen to charge with even if it advanced this turn. If this model advanced this turn, you can choose to charge with it within 15 inches of any model instead of 12 inches. So it increases a 12-inch base rate charge to 15. Now here's where it gets sick. Movement 8. Now, I know when you roll the advance, it's rolling a dice basically, but you can also play this. Matches agility. It's 1 command point, which basically says use a stratagem before moving a Asuryani unit from your army in the movement phase. If that unit advances, add 6 inches instead of rolling a d6. So if you're going to go and assassinate a certain character, or you're going to take out a certain unit, you're confident that she's going to do harm, that's made of 14 inches just with that and that together, which is pretty sick. Then you've got +3 to your charge roll, so you have a 17-inch movement if you just add the +3 for the charge phase. So if you're 18 inches away, because sometimes in some setups and some deployment maps you may be 18 or 24 inches away, or some between one of those 2 numbers. If you're 18 inches apart, you're 1 inch apart from possibly an enemy unit or close to it, or you're 7 inches away, which means you only need to roll a 6 because you only need to be an inch within a model to charge. That's like an alpha strike turn 1 charge off the bat. That is pretty cool. So that's what I love, the synergizing the stratagems and her. So she's already pretty cool, but they've made her even more better. She gets 4 basic attacks. She hasn't got an invulnerable save, which a lot of people say, oh, why hasn't she got an invulnerable save? I'm actually kind of pleased, because if she had an invulnerable save of 4+, that just will make her just too good. And I always go over a rule of any army that you shouldn't be dependent on 1 unit or 1 character or 2 or 3 units in the game. Otherwise, once they're gone, it's pretty much game over. You should synergize your units really well to make sure every unit plays a certain role and task. So just in case certain pieces get taken away, and in Warhammer 40,000, you know, against good players, you can lose certain pieces you may not want to. You can then adjust and play and still be in the game to win. So Storm of Silence. This is the new rule, which has got me super stoked and excited because she's only got a base 4 attacks. That's all she normally gets. But with this rule, it says when this model fights, you can choose for its attacks characteristics to be equal to the number of enemy models within 2 inches after any piling it has been made.
Jesus.
That is huge. That's
Man.
huge. That's huge. And here's the reason why. So you want this 4 base attacks when you're going against a certain character because she's basically strength 6, I believe. It's strength 4 with Blade of Destruction gives a +2, -3 to the AP, which is pretty decent. D3 wounds, rerolling wound rolls. When resolving an attack with this weapon, you can reroll wounds, which is awesome, I think. Now she's got that. She's also got disarm, where she can disarm a character's weapon, basically. Let me just see where that is. A Banishing Mask, Overwatch code. Oh, okay. So they've taken out the disarm rule, which is interesting. I can't see it here, but that's fine. Anyway, my point is, when things pile in, like a bunch of Poxwalkers, or let's just say a bunch of Orcs, so I'm running an Orc army, and my 20 Orcs pile in, and there's like 10 or 11 Orcs within the 2-inch trench, because 2 inch is pretty big in 40k, to be honest.
Yeah.
That's 10 or 11 attacks, hitting on 2s, wounding on 3s, no armor save with my Orcs, dead, basically.
Right, that's huge.
That's a unit. So she becomes she becomes an infantry killer for medium armored to light armored infantry units. Heavy armored units like Terminators, well, you're only going to have a unit of 5 Terminators, or anything with a 2-up or Chaos Terminator. Anything with like a 2-up save, that's like usually a unit of 5. You may get the +1 attack, so you still may want to go for that anyway, because it's a 1 additional attack more, but it's not as effective against what I call medium armored infantry or light infantry, and those tend to be like Orc Boys units, Poxwalkers, Drukhari warriors of more than 10, Termagants, or anything that's got a value of more than 10 in the unit. So 10 or more, units of 10 or more, dude, the Storm of Silence is amazing. The Banshee Mask, this is the key thing about being a Banshee. You cannot overwatch her. So you get Alpha Strike and she cannot be overwatched, which is huge, again. The cry of the Unending, this is pretty cool. I always use this for myself. I always run with a unit of Howling Banshees in my army as well. And what this enables, it enables every turn, at the start of the fight phase, they always fight first. So as long as they haven't been charged, so if someone charges you, that person gets the right to attack you first, but after he's attacked, anyone with a Banshee Mask always gets to attack back, and you alternate. Now, if, let's just say, on your opponent's turn, they haven't charged you and you're still locked into a second round of combat with them, you get to fight first, which is huge, because she's basically become a unit killer and a good character killer as well. And that also affects Howling Banshees as well, if they're within 6 inches of her. And finally, just to add injury to insult, she has War Shout, which is anyone who tries to attack her is at a -1 to hit. So if like Drazhar goes up to her, she's got, and then Drazhar 17-2s to hit, needs 3s to hit. If you've got a Space Marine captain with a Thunderhammer, which is at -1 to hit, normally needs 3s to hit, they're at now 4s to hit, because the Thunderhammer gives them a -1, or a Power Fist gives them -1, they need 4s. Now, here's where it gets stupid. If you play this card, which you can, use the strategy when a friendly Asuryani infantry unit or Asuryani unit with a fly keyword is chosen as a target for an enemy attack, in the shooting or fight phase, subtract 1 from all hit rolls that target that unit for the rest of the phase.
I see where that's going.
So suddenly you're at -2 to hit. So if you're up against Mr. Powerfist man, Mr. Powerfist warlord or captain or leader, who's normally at 2s to hit, they're now at -3 to hit. -2 because of third, -1 because of Powerfist or Thunderhammer, or -2 for normal lords. So normal 2-up hitting lords or demon prince or whatever now need 4s to hit her. So that's a good. It is a bit costly, but it's well worth it when you time it, basically. So overall, for her power points, for the way she plays, Can you take her out? Yes, you can take her out. She can't take the hits when she's been hit by a big beat stick, basically. But the whole point is to make sure that she gets in, she takes out, she's surrounded by her banshees as well, and that you use you got to coordinate your attacks with Jain Zar. She isn't like your Smash Captain that has a 3-up invulnerable, or your Demon Prince which has a base 5-up invulnerable and toughness ridiculous. So that's Jain Zar. Just real quick, her stats are 2s to hit, and she's got a great gun weapon here, Blade of Destruction. I like it. It's 4 shots, 2s to hit, strength of a user of 4, AP -3, 1 damage. Pretty cool. Before you charge her in, you can shoot it. If you assault, you're at -1 to hit, so you're still hitting on 3s. Pretty decent weapon. Strength 4 basic, but strength 6 in melee with her Blade of Destruction. Toughness 4, wound 6, attacks 4, leadership 9, 2+ save. And to be fair, if she does die in your games, it doesn't matter. The whole purpose of the Phoenix Lords is an aspect warrior takes on the Phoenix Lord suit, so they can never die. They are always immortal. So that's why I like it. It's themed, it's fluffed, that it's not complete overkill. It is, in my viewpoint, very well balanced, because I can see situations where you can take her out, but if she's used properly and coordinated properly with units to be a Vanguard Strike Force or an Alpha Strike Force, you'll do very well with her. No auto win in the games, but highly effective. And the new rule, Storm of Silence, is a killer. Alright, let's move to Drazhar. Basically, one of my favourite characters fluff-wise. Hardly used him a lot because I never was motivated and energized by the initial sculpt of the character. However, the new sculpt is epic. I mean,
yeah, it's pretty good looking.
It's only been out there for two minutes. It's already paid for itself. That's how epic it is.
Okay.
It doesn't take any Steffi graphs. Anyway, moving on. This, just the pose and the model is just sexy as hell. I can't wait to paint it up and use him. He's going to be a staple unit in my Drukhari army, and I'll tell you why. Usually what I'll do is I fill them with inside my Tantalus with a unit of 10 incubi, my Archon with my Archon's bodyguard. But here's what, and Tantalus is basically a heavy transport vehicle for the Drukhari through Forge World. Beautiful model, beautiful kit, and very deadly in the game. Drazhar. What is he? What's he got? Well, he's power 6, which is pretty sweet. He has a movement of 7, a weapon skill of 2, a ballistic skill of 2, a strength of 4, toughness of 4, 6 wounds, 4 attacks, 9 leadership, and a 2-up armor save base profile. However, you're going to see things accelerate and increase whilst I go through his stats here and his weapons. He has only 1 weapon. He hasn't got any ranged weapons. It's called the Executioner's Demiglaive. You have 2 options. You can use it in the fight phase as a single blade, or you can use it as a dual blade, as they clip together and become one cool, sick, double-ended blade. Now, the single blade gives him +1 strength, -3 AP, 2 damage. Very respectable. And then the dual blades is what you kind of like want to use against mass units or basically infantry models that are non-characters or not super hard, which are strength as user, -2 to AP, 2 damage, but when you are fighting with the dual blade, you get 2 extra attacks, so you get 6 attacks. Now here is where it kind of like kicks in. So, Murderous Assault. If this model made a charge move this turn, you can choose to fight with this model an additional time this turn. So he gets to fight twice when he's charged, which is sick.
Yeah, that's sick.
So he either gets 8 attacks or 12 attacks. And if you don't have any incubi units on board, let's just say they've died, or you had a unit of 10, you got 3 left. This is when to synergize this. It's only 1 command point. Onslaught. Use a stratagem before an incubi unit, keyword incubi, from your army fights in the fight phase. Until the end of the fight phase, each time you roll and a modified roll of a 6 for a model in this unit, the attack scores 2 hits instead of 1. So if you're going for 12 attacks against a unit and you roll 3 6s, you got 3 extra attacks. And if you hit that's a max potential of 15 attacks in one go. Mm-hmm. That is wrong. Now here's the other sick thing about it. What he's got: lethal precision. Works with both either option of his blade. When resolving attack made with a melee weapon by this model, on a modified wound roll of a 6, add 2 to damage characteristics, which is huge because you can literally take out a few Space Marine characters with your base 4 wounds with just 1 hit, or you can just take him out with 2 hits. One does 4 wounds, one does 2 wounds, 6 wounds. Most Warlord characters, most of your leaders in 40k, not all, start with 6 to 5 wounds. So he's already become an assassin of killing characters. Master of Blades is what Drazhar is. He is a Master of Blades. Let's move on to the next thing. He's Eternal Warrior, which gives him a 5 up and vulnerable save, which is huge because he's got his 2 up. He's got a 5 up. If you fail any of these 2 rolls, which you choose to use, you also get from the turn 1, Feel No Pain, which is this card here, Inert to Suffering. So powerful pain, every round you get stats. It's another great thing about Drazhar that people don't realise. There are some units which, like a Poxwalker, you can put Miasma as Pestilence on, or a Nurgle Psychic Power, you can put Miasma Pestilence on, Mortarion, or or Typhus or whatever, which is -1 to hit. So, but on round 3, which is over here, all Dark Eldar get Flensing Fury. Add 1 to hit rolls. So instead of going up to a 3, it goes back to a 2. So you can negate stuff like that, which is really cool, which really makes him a bit of a combat monster. Also, don't forget, on your battle round of turn 2, automatically all Drukhari models can reroll their dice, determining advance or charges. So getting a charge off, if you fail the first one, you can roll to see if you can succeed. So this is where he starts to synergize with all the base Drukhari rules. Tormentor's pretty cool. Basically what that means, for any Incubi unit that's within 6 inches of a unit, if that enemy unit takes a morale test, if they equal to the highest number, so if you're like a Space Marine, you've got a Sergeant in unit, your leadership 8, if you roll a dice and you get 8, basically, or higher, if you get 8, you lose a model. Normally when you just equal, you're fine. But if you get equal, you lose a model. If you get higher, obviously you lose models anyway. That makes that really cool. Now you can add a few things as well. So there are a few stratagems that you can say they can use. They can add when he's in combat, and he doesn't necessarily need to be in combat. He just needs to be within 6 inches of something. So if you shoot at the unit or throw something else into it, there are other synergies where you can put -1 to leadership, which starts making morale test a big thing, and that synergizes as well with tactical objective cards for Maelstrom games, where there are cards where it says you gain victory points for losing morale. So that's actually a very interesting one there. Then you have Master of Blades. Add 1 to the wound rolls for all friendly Incubi units, including himself, that are within 6 inches. So that means if you're a Strength 5, if he's Strength 5, he goes in and he's going up against Demon Prince and he needs 5s to wound. He now needs 4s to wound. If he's going up against Typhus, who's toughness 5, or a toughness 5 character, if he's going for a single blade, he would need 3s to wound, not 4s to wound, and so forth. So that just makes it even better. Now that's just for himself, that's not including the synergies he does for all the Incubis. And once we get into the Incubi units and how he synergizes and how many attacks they get, it's just dirty. So Drazhar is, for me, a must-have character in my Drukhari army. He is the Incubi General. That's why I call him the Master General of the Incubis. And I'm very, very excited. There's some good fluff about him as well in the Psychic Awakening Phoenix Rising. So check that out as well. But that's it. That draws us to a close, to just focusing on the 2 characters. These are some really nice data cards. I hope Games Workshop sees an option of producing more of these for all characters, because so it's for Phoenix. Cool. Yeah, it's Phoenix Rising, but I would be happy to buy a whole pack of 8th edition character artwork like that and put them on. It just makes it easy when you're playing to have references to your characters. But yeah, looks very nice and love it. Alright, well, thanks for watching. Make sure to check out the rest of the Blood of the Phoenix series that we've got coming installed for you. A lot of exciting stuff for you to sink your teeth into, and hopefully, like us, start building them and putting out on the table and start bashing your friends.
Yep. Alright, so I'm the Cerebral Assassin, and that was the General, and we will see you in the next Blood of the Phoenix video.